The phrase to sit at the right hand is based on the important New Testament teaching of Jesus sitting at the right hand of God around 30 times throughout the New Testament. The image simply means sitting in a place of honor next to someone who is your superior. Here's a good example from Mark 10, verse 37, where the apostles asked Jesus, "Let one of us sit at your right and the other at your left in your glory." The New Living Translation best captures the meaning of their petition. We want to sit in places of honor next to you. The imagery comes from the famous Psalm 110, verse 1, the most quoted and alluded to psalm by the New Testament writers. Hebrews 1, verse 13, to which of the angels did God ever say, "Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet"? The New English Translation Bible comments on Psalm 110, verse 1. The Lord's invitation to the Davidic king to sit down at his right hand reflects the king's position as the Lord's, that is, God's, vice regent. So, in its messianic biblical context, the phrase represented conferred authority in a royal setting. This means the one at the right hand will forever remain subordinate to the one who commanded him to sit at his right hand. Paul makes this clear in 1 Corinthians 15. For God has put everything under his feet. Now, when it says everything is put under him, it is obvious that he who puts everything under him is the exception. When everything is subject to Christ, then the Son himself will also be subject to the one who subjected everything to him, so that God may be all in all. The right hand imagery also echoes the most used Old Testament verse by the New Testament writers, Daniel 7, verse 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven there came one like a son of man, and he came to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. Bishop N.T. Wright, in his preface to his book, How God Became King, notes that Jesus, through his ascension, was seated at the right hand of the Father. In ancient Jewish thought, with echoes of Daniel 7, this could only mean that from that moment, Jesus was the Father's right hand man, the Father's accredited and appointed agent. This all leads to the Christian endgame. That is the fulfillment of the gospel promise made to Abraham, the establishment of God's eternal kingdom over the kingdoms of this world, as John later says in Revelation 11, verse 15. Hence the climax of Daniel's vision when he says that to the Son of Man was given dominion and glory and a kingdom that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. As God's right hand man, Jesus has been conferred unprecedented and unparalleled authority, as he himself repeatedly makes clear throughout the Gospels. All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Matthew 28:18. All things have been delivered to me by my Father. Luke 10:22. I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. Mark 2:10. They know that you gave me everything I have. John 17, verse 7. Jesus even claimed to be David's Lord in Mark 12:37 because he is the Lord, that is, God's Messiah. Luke 2:26. The Son is the unique chosen human agent, the last Adam. Eerdmans' commentary on the Bible is right to note that as the human being described in Daniel 7, the human being to whom divine authority is granted, Jesus has authority to forgive sins. Jesus has not claimed to be God. He has claimed to be God's vice regent on earth. And while the Son of Man figure is similar to the Ancient of Days in John's vision of the resurrected Jesus, there's no equivalency or identification. In fact, the giving of authority, power, glory to the Son of Man implies that his status is subject and therefore different from that of the Ancient of Days.